Hello everyone, this is Archana from College Dunya. As we say, critical to being a leader is self-awareness. So College Dunya have initiated a program of thoughts on education. So for the purpose, today here with us we have Professor Sanjeev Sharma, Vice Chancellor of National Institute of Ayurveda, Jaipur. Sanjeev sir have done his BAMS from Government Ayurveda College, Paprola, HP. MD from Gujarat Ayurveda University, Jamnagar, and PhD from NIA, Jaipur. Sir has total 33 years of experience, professional experience, and 32 years in education industry.
Yeah.
Welcome to our platform, sir.
Thank you, Archana ji. Namaskar and very good afternoon to everyone.
So, sir, being part of the management, what's your philosophy of leadership and how would you describe your leadership style?
Yeah. See, the leadership and management and administration, these are the three terms which are sometimes used as synonyms also, but I think all the three terms are entirely different. If I can talk about the administration, that is to administer the things, and if I say the manager, then it is just to manage the things according to the needs and requirements of the organization or the company. But leadership is entirely different. Leadership means when you are leading, and leaders are never appointed. These are the qualities which are inculcated within. An administrator can be a leader, a manager can be a leader, or even a common man can be a leader for his family. So leadership is entirely a different concept. It is inbuilt quality, in fact, and there should be a quality to lead at the front. And a leader should be an administration, he can be a manager. At the same time, he should be good motivator also, and at the same time, he should be inspirer also, so that he should motivate and he can inspire the people to follow him, to guide them, to motivate them, so that what the purpose of an organization or some company has set up to achieve those goals, he has to do. So leadership is entirely different and different concept, and everybody can develop a leadership quality. Sometimes these qualities are inborn, hidden in the form of hidden traits, or sometimes these are maybe revealed, or sometimes these can be taught us. Sometimes because teaching for leadership is required, because sometimes suppose I am having inherited inbuilt traits, but those are just under the surface. So to bring those out of the surface means to bring them above. We need sometimes the training for the leadership. Otherwise, these are the inbuilt traits which one should have.
Definitely, sir. As we say, like a student, a child can be a leader. So, leadership is an inbuilt.
Leaderships are basically inbuilt, but sometimes those traits which the person is having are under the surface, covered. To bring them out, yes, training sometimes is required.
Definitely, sir. So, sir, according to you, what makes the education industry the best industry to work in?
See, education industry is very important. It's industry irrespective of the field. Whatsoever the field someone chooses, the education is very important. Without education, this world or this nation or any organization cannot run. Education is the basic requirement for any progress of any family, society, or the nation or the world as a whole, we say. So education is very important, and if we want to develop, then education is essential requirement.
Definitely, sir. So, sir, as it critically visible as education industry in India and other foreign countries are structured very differently. So, in your experience, what can be inbound student gain from studying from National Institute of Ayurveda?
See, first of all, let us take the first part of this conversation, that the educational structure in India and abroad are entirely different. Particularly in India, or we can say in some of the Asian countries, the educational system is different than the European countries or other Western countries. In the Western countries, the modern education style is that there is more inclusiveness, and students are involved. They are much involved in the teaching and learning process. Whereas in India, still the classical way of the teaching, a traditional way of teaching, chalk, walk and talk, that tradition is still going on. But we need to change it. You know, our ancient system was entirely different. That was a Gurukula system. Here, there used to be a very renowned personality in the education that which was known as guru, and then he was having his own academy, and the students, they used to learn there and get themselves trained also. And after once the guru is satisfied that yes, this disciple is now complete now, then he used to throw into the market for the practice. No, but now that system is entirely gone. Now there is an organized system of education, and the institutions are there right from the schools and the colleges, universities, and means very mature system is there. However, we need to look into the education system as well as the training and teaching system, because teachers can do wonders and teachers can do blunders also.
Yes.
So it is very important to concentrate on the teaching mechanism, that how these days teaching should be, because nowadays the involvement of the students in the education or teaching and learning is entirely different as it was a few years back. In our time, which I can say, there was different attitude of the students, but nowadays the understanding of the students, the strata of students which we are getting is entirely different kind of students, and they need much more to learn. They are much more fertile, they are much more exposed to the external world through various media, and so many things are there. So their teaching requires specialized skills to be developed so that they can be taught well. Otherwise, simple lecture they can even find in the Google or in the websites, or various tutorials are available. Then what is the difference between those tutorials which they are getting online and in the classroom teaching? There must be some difference, and that difference is that means we have to involve the student in the teaching. Student teaches student. Various discussion groups or activities should be there, so that it should be activity-based learning, it should be competence-based learning, it should be inclusive learning, not one-way traffic that teacher is teaching or speaking and the students are listening. Nobody knows that how many students are really listening or learning from the conversation what the teacher is telling. How many of them are really gaining the knowledge? Yes. Sometimes it is just formal teaching, that the student and teacher is very much mechanical. He goes into the class, gets attendance, and then delivers his lecture and then comes out. What students gained or learned from that lecture, that is very important, and that needs some different parameters to assess the students, to involve the students in that process. So nowadays teaching should be entirely different way, so that students, they should feel satisfied and they should feel involved in the teaching process and learning process.
Definitely, sir. So, sir, how do you plan your immense knowledge and experience you have gained being a part of education industry?
Yeah, because as you also said, and I'm there in almost in the education, Ayurveda education since last almost 32 years. And I have, during this journey of my teaching experience and in the education, I have felt that at the different times, the demands of the students for the teaching are entirely different. Now this is, as you know, that this is the era of information.
Yes.
And students are getting a lot of information, means there is explosion of the information in different on different platforms, maybe the media, newspapers, print media, electronic media, social media. So means there are a lot of information, but all the informations what we are getting from different sources, are those relevant or not? Are those useful or not? Are those real information? So that information student requires to be filtered, to be refined, so that he can get knowledge, because information and knowledge are entirely different.
Yes.
So information needs to be transformed into knowledge level, and knowledge then leads to be, knowledge is also not sufficient, that requires to be converted into intelligence.
Yes.
So information, knowledge and intelligence, these are the steps. So in fact, today's student is getting a lot of information, but does he able to change that information to knowledge level, and from knowledge to intelligence level? That is the job of the organizations, in educational organizations, are I can say the teachers, that they should teach in such a way that what the explosion of the information student has, that should be refined. that should be filtered in such a way that he can be knowledgeable. And then at the same time, teacher has to teach the student that how to convert that knowledge intelligence level at practical levels. Because if I say that in this Ayurvedic education means we have to make the students who are learning here able to treat the patient. That is the ultimate target, because patient is the fulcrum of our profession. So if student is having only the theoretical knowledge, he may not be able to treat the patient on that. So he should have practical knowledge also.
Yes.
At the same time, there is third factor, theory, practical, and that is reason. That is what we call in our Ayurveda yukti. Because all the things are not applicable, or we cannot beat everything with a single stick. We have to use different parameters, different treatment lines for the different patients. So we have to make the students well exposed to the theory as well as to the practicals, and at the same time we have to make the student able to become a very good clinician, so that there should be reasoning. He can apply the principles according to the need of the patient, according to the circumstances, and according to his own strengths and abilities.
Yes.
And he, at the same time, he should also know his weaknesses. That this is my weakness. Here, this is my boundary line. Beyond this, if there is something, I have to consult some other person. I have to refer the patient to some other person. So students should be able to judge all these things.
Definitely, sir. So, sir, in the last, I wanted to ask you that any feedback or suggestion you would like to share with the generation coming forward.
Yeah, there are 2 or 3 feedbacks or message to young generations I can give. That one thing, that teaching nowadays is entirely a different thing. And students, if the younger friends, they are students, then they should focus on the studies, not only the theoretical aspects, but also the practical aspects, and whatsoever the field they have chosen, they should be expert of that, and they should master that field. That is because today level of excellence is required, and excellent people are always welcome everywhere throughout the globe. That is one thing. So we should have a focused learning, and we should be trained in that particular field. That is one thing. Second message which I want to give, that is about Ayurveda, because I am from Ayurveda stream, and Ayurvedic education system, and in a National Institute as a deemed university and vice chancellor of this institute, I can give a very good message to the young students that in Ayurveda there are ample scopes of their excellent career. Because when at younger level, when a student tries to choose his career opportunity, sometimes he is blank. He thinks about to become doctor, or when come say that doctor, then they talk about the allopathic doctor or Western medicine doctor. But Ayurveda as a career opportunity, they do not see any hope. But I should assure to the younger generation that in Ayurveda there are excellent career opportunities, and we can grow up to any extent, not at the national level but at the international level, because the demand of Ayurveda has increased immensely since last few years, and particularly after COVID, the demand of Ayurveda has increased. And this demand is not only at the national level, but it is also at the international level. And there is a huge gap in between the demand and supply. The whole world is waiting for us, waiting for Ayurveda experts, but the supply is less. So I can assure that by opting this option of becoming Ayurvedic physician or Ayurveda expert, you can have multiple options. You can become clinicians, you can become teachers, you can become entrepreneurs, you can become industrialists, you can go for so many kind of innovations and so many things. Even you can go into administration like me. I am Ayurveda expert. Since last 7 years I am here as an administrator, and the previous I was in teaching. So there are huge opportunity in Ayurveda, and one should try to avail this.
Definitely. So thank you so much for giving your valuable times and valuable thoughts to our audience. Thank you so much, sir.